Hey guys, welcome to another video. As requested by one of my subscribers, I'm going to break down this video from Jujutsu Kaisen 0, Gojo versus Miguel. And one thing I'm going to focus on in this video is the camera movement and how it really adds to the scenes, to the shots, to the narrative of the fight. So like and subscribe. Also comment down below if you have any suggestions for any tips you might want or any video breakdowns you might want from certain animes or cartoons. So let's get into it. So with this scene, one thing that I've noticed personally is that the camera does a lot of the work. The camera does, I wouldn't say heavy lifting, but it complements a lot of the animators' decisions in this fight. So for example, if you look here, if you just focus on, say, Miguel's arm, if you look at Miguel's arm right here, it's pretty much the only thing that moves. The rest of his body moves a little bit, but it's just the arm. The arm gets your attention, but then the thing that makes it feel like, not weird, because sometimes when you do that, it can become quite weird because everything is dead, and we call that like dead pixels in 3D animation, where nothing is moving. You can get away with it more in 2D because it's just images, but the one thing that gives it more life, especially on this is a movie, right, to make it still feel high quality, is the camera zooming in. The camera zooming in, but it's not zooming straight in, it's like shaking as well at the same time. You notice that, you see it's kind of like wobbling a bit, because usually if it just goes straight in, that's quite, what would I call it, like very basic, very old school. But to give it a little bit of oomph, and obviously to save time as well, you give it that little shake. So keep that in mind. That's a good tip for any of you guys doing any sort of slight zoom in shots like this. It can give it that little extra mwah or something. I don't know why I did that, but yeah, you can see it's such a simple trick. The hand moves a couple frames, and yeah, the camera's moved in a bit. You might not be able to do all of this at this moment in time. You might be able to, but if you can't, for whatever effect you're trying to give, that helps a lot. But anyways, and then of course the camera kind of moves with him. Obviously some of the camera movement is animated, but the post editing in whatever compositing software has been done. So as you can see, the camera is always like shaking for most of this fight, to just give a sense of how ferocious these attacks, and a sense of speed as well. So here, that was nice. That was very nice. Of course, some of this was hand animated as well. No, actually, for the most part, for this, if you look at it, it's actually just the camera zooming out from the background. Like the part with the way the animator breaks, the way the animator animates Gojo gives a sense of as if a camera was actually, filming around Gojo. But all that's happening is the background images slide into the left, and the camera is just zooming out in like a fluid motion, and I think it kind of curves out. So there's some frames on the camera that helps it to kind of curve out, and it gives it more of that illusion that someone on, I don't know what you call it, like a cherry picker or just someone with a camera is actually zoom back, to give it that kind of live action feel. And of course the animator has animated Gojo on like twos or threes. This is on what, like twos, getting smaller and smaller from the left to the center of the screen, which is really good. So what I would advise from this is to really storyboard these things out, and play around with things like camera movement and the character moving at the same time, so you can get these kind of effects, because that is some high level stuff, but it's very simple as well. Let me put some annotation just so you get some I will carry on. But then there's always little shakes as well when things are going on. They keep that quite consistent. The camera is always swaying a little bit, if you can see it. The camera, like if I play it, the camera's swaying like pretty much all the time. And remember, they're on a rooftop, so it gives that sense of like windiness as well. So I think a lot of thought has gone into this, of where they are, how powerful they are, the type of movement they'll be doing, and it makes it really feel grounded in that reality. Here it's just a simple of like foreground, midground, and background moving at different speeds. You know, the I believe it's the background moves faster, and then the foreground is moving slowest because you're really close. But usually, I think in real life it's the opposite direction. Usually in real life the background would be very slow because it's far away and you can see more of it, and the foreground would move faster because it's right in front of you. Anything that's in front of you, if it moves, it moves faster than something that is further away from you, right? But in this, which is a nice like cinematic effect, that they make the foreground move slower and the background move faster while they're doing their thing in the midground, which just gives a really nice effect. And in reality, that is like impossible. That just doesn't really happen, I believe, anyway. But that's a tip to take if you want to have that feel, especially if you're making a fight scene and you jump back to a wide shot like this. If you want to reference this, that would be a good idea, and then maybe play around like they have. You know, discovering things like this come from, you know, experimenting, failing, and then God knows what you'll come up with. So the same thing, I believe. Oh, if you can see it go like it, the camera here is tilted to the right as the foreground, I wouldn't say back like foreground, I say midground and background are moving in opposite directions, which is impossible. But I'm just noticing this now, that this is impossible. I really try to question myself, is it possible? But I don't think it is. If you're moving to the left or to the right or the left, everything is going to go in the opposite direction. But in this shot, things are going up in opposite directions. And then also the camera is tilted to the left here. We'll tilt to the right, sorry. So we go from tilted to the left in this wide shot. Then we're tilted to the, no, we're still tilted to the left, okay. And then, well, I think I'm saying it wrong, but anyways, it tilts to the opposite side slightly, in it. So it goes from tilted to the right to straight, and then gradually a little bit to the left, and then it changes shots. And then here we have a camera movement, standard camera movement with some good animation, of course. So from the sky and then down. So there's a hang time on the camera going up with the hang time with Gojo, and then boom, down. So that's when you get your bouncing ball foundations in. So the ball's up there for longer, more frames at the top, and then less frames as we come down. And then there's an ease there, you know, and an overlap, you know, and the camera continues to bounce, and then Gojo does his thing, goes off. And then we have some quick cuts there. Standard things here. But remember, the camera is not static. I know when we're noobs and when we're starting off, and obviously when we're doing things on our own, there's a lot to do, and then sometimes we might not take the time to work on the camera and keep the camera quite static. But play around with it, go overboard, you know, not to the point that everyone gets sick, but you know, try things out. Let's carry on. Nice. So we have quite a few cuts, and you notice there's obviously a lot of good animation happening, but I feel like the camera and the way that they're cutting between different shots is very good. You could imagine this in an animatic, which is a tongue twister for me, but it would still look pretty good. It would still get the message across. It'd show how high paced and intense this fight is. Here, very good shot. These are very good storyboarded shots. So as well as the camera movement, the shots really give scope, give weight, and give narration. So always keep that in mind. You have to get good at storytelling as well as knowing these, little tricks as well. So here's shaking, showing the weight of this guy. Boom. Let's see, that was, I think this is all animated. We'll see with some shakes and then some blur effects. But of course this is all animated by hand. Same with this, but the camera's shaking as per usual. Continuous camera shakes. This is good perspective. This is definitely referenced from a live action scene. This is just so realistic, and it's just so good to use real reference. Get a real scope of the land. Background moving fast, blur effects. This one, this one's probably, this is fully, I would believe that, this one's difficult for me to say. I would say everything in a sense is just hand animated, and they just move the background accordingly with, of course, some zoom ins and camera shakes. Camera zoom in, fast shot with a little bit of shake. See, from even there, as they shake, as he hit the ground, the camera's shaking, but then it's also moving to the right. I don't know if that's intentional or by accident, but yeah. Oh, it's because he's rolling towards the screen. They want to show that there's, like, to kind of emphasize the movement, like he's bouncing. So as he's bouncing to the left, the camera's moving to the right, and it's so subtle, but it really sells everything that's going on. And I think it's very good to just watch these high quality animation scenes or anime scenes, especially from the movies, because I think they take more time to brainstorm these things, whereas when it's a weekly show, you don't get much time, or you have to pull back a bit. That's just a zoom in. Background's moving rapidly. And then yeah, that's it. Like, some things that you're seeing in this are actually unrealistic. They're exaggerated, and that's what we got to look to do as animators. We have to exaggerate things, from the way you look at a person to the way you throw a punch. It's all exaggerated, and that also goes with the camera. You try to keep it grounded in reality, but then also you over exaggerate a bit. There was something here I saw. Yeah, like this background here is moving crazy. Is moving absolutely crazy. Like, even to catch a shot like this in real life would be pretty much impossible, I think, anyway. And but as animators, we can push the limits, which is great. But yeah, that's all I have for this scene. I hope it was helpful. I wanted to use annotations, but when it comes to talking about the camera, you just kind of just got to watch it and get a feel for it from watching it. Definitely watch this a few times and just see the way they save time by using the camera, because it gets the message across, and that's what animation is. It's getting the message across. And of course, it's great to do great animations and that, but you also have to be smart about it as well, because you can do good animations but not get your message across, if you know what I mean. You can get the right frames in, you can get the weight, but if the shot isn't right and the camera movement and the timing isn't right, then you miss out, and people miss out on what you're trying to show them, if that makes sense. But I'll stop waffling here, and yeah, hope I was clear. Like and subscribe if you like this. Comment below if you want more like this. Yeah, and have a good day. Keep animating, and God bless.